The Song of Elbereth, a Middle-earth Tale. Scene 7, The Grace of Elbereth. When the sun rose, it found the Aweneth drifting softly over Berindir. Berindir, Rhaeloth, and Dinfea awoke, and found Earelda already standing. The gem flickered softly on her brow. None of them quite knew how they had gotten there, but they were glad to be safely on the boat as they arose from their cramped positions.
To Lothlorien?
Yes, to Lothlorien.
Well, I for one won't miss Avenine, although I still think it would be useful to have more than 2 arms.
Even I can't disagree with that.
Rhaeloth took her place at the tiller, while Berindir began fastening the sail. A current began to draw them onwards. From then on, their journey was swift to Mithlond. Their path took them through the December snows in the Trollshaws, blizzards in the misty mountains, and finally to the evergreen hills of Lothlorien. They passed through Lorien, with Haldir as before, though he has both Berindir and Rhaeloth blindfolded, as was their custom with strangers. Upon their arrival in Ciris Galadon, Earelda left her friends to rest and refresh themselves. The Lady of Lorien was standing at her fountain, gazing into the water.
I have watched you, Earelda. I've caught glimpses of your journey, but not all. The details remain to be told with song and feasting later. The light of Arendil. Come hither, Earelda.
The maiden stood and stooped over the mirror as she was asked. Galadriel drew out a crystal vial, not unlike the one she had given to Earelda. And though Earelda did not understand what followed, it was the work of the power of Yenya, the ring of adamant. The concentrated light, which shone so brightly on the surface of the water, was diffused into the water itself, and this Galadriel gathered in the vial. She looked at the maiden and smiled.
This gift will shine in the darkest places, and Frodo Baggins will find the grace of the Vala within it, for it was crafted by their queen. Yes, the halflings are here, with 5 companions. Go and rest now, for you have journeyed far, and tonight we will fill with song and feasting.
The days passed, with Rhaeloth testing her archery skills against the Galadrim, and Dinfea learning to sing the songs of the elves now that she had been given a voice. Earelda wandered along the river banks. She scarcely ever saw Berindir, but at last, while walking through the woods, she happened upon him. He walked with one she knew well, Aragorn, the captain of the Dunedain, heir to the throne of Gondor, and the beloved of her sister, Arwen. Both rangers smiled upon seeing her, but their conversation drew them deeper into the forest. One soft gray morning found the halflings and their friends preparing to sail down the river Anduin. Earelda, Dinfea, Berindir, and Rhaeloth joined Galadriel and Celeborn and watched as they sang and drank to the success of the journey. When the feast was over, Galadriel had Dinfea fill a chalice with white mead and bade her husband and guests to drink. She sat down while the 3 maidens and handmaids stood beside her.
We have drunk the cup of parting, and the shadows fall between us. But before you go, I have brought in my ship gifts which the Lord and Lady of the Galadrim now offer you in memory of Lothlorien. And you, Ringbearer, I come to you last, or not last in my thoughts. For you I have prepared this. In this phial is caught the light of Arendil's star, set amid the waters of my fountain. It will shine still brighter when night is about you. May it be a light to you in dark places, when all other lights go out.
Frodo thanked her gravely as the light shone softly in his hand, echoing the shining gem on Earelda's brow.
Remember Galadriel and her mirror.
The Lord and Lady of the Galadriel bade them all farewell. The elves and rangers watched as the fellowship stepped into the waiting boats and shoved off the riverbank. Galadriel sang a last song, ancient and fair, until she could see the ships no more. As the last echoes of her song died away among the trees, the Lady of Lothlorien and her handmaids turned to leave the riverside. Galadriel paused a moment then, and turning to the maiden and the ranger who stood at her side, she spoke.
We will wait for you tonight, Earelda and Berindir, on the lawn before our home, for you must soon go, and we wish to bid you farewell.
Galadriel followed her handmaidens out, and Berindir accompanied Celeborn. Elenloth hung back, and laughing stopped Earelda.
I see you met Berindir, of whom we spoke. And is there a reason that my lady would call both of you at once?
Hush, Elenloth, or I shall have my lady reprimand you for the freedom of your tongue. Come along now, we have duties to attend to.
Please forgive Elenloth, Earelda. She is very young. She is not yet 50 years old. She will learn.
I expect she will. It's all right. I understand.
The ranger and the maid met late that evening on the lawn as they were bidden, and awaited the Lord and Lady of the Galadriel.
Earelda, fair daughter of our kin and beloved of your father Elrond, you have done much for Middle-earth in obtaining the light of Arendelle. One day you will know what has passed because of it.
Berindir, you are a ranger of the Dunedain. You have done your duty in guarding the lady and her handmaid, thus aiding the future of your people and ours, not only ours, but all in Middle-earth. You will have much to think of when Elessar enters Gondor as king. Until then, Middle-earth has need of your guardianship. There are many folk, Berindir, who cannot care for themselves in these troubled times. You must be there for them.
I understand, my lord. For that has been the duty of my people, and we are trained to keep it, so even through the days of the king.
Berindir, fear not, little daughter, for while you have played your role, and must now return to Rivendell and your father, not all joy is lost. For as the heavens are moved and hung with stars, and the waters stirred, so are the meetings of men, elves, and free folk.
Have joy, for the shadows of Mordor cannot reach so far to darken the western seas, nor can its shadows shade the stars. It is not time to despair, nor to set one's hand to the sword, without first setting his heart to a new sunrise.
Lord Celeborn speaks truly, but you would suffer much, and I will never ask it of you.
Do you not see that I would suffer so much more if you did not ask me?
Like the light of the stars that Elbereth put in the sky many ages ago, Berindir, such is my love for you. Would I desire to go to the Undying Lands now?
I must leave you now, but I will return to you. Until then, may the stars shine upon you as they did at our meeting.
He went to his horse. Rhaeloth was waiting for them. They saw the star glowing brightly on Earelda's brow as she called a farewell. The Dunedain waved and vanished into the night.
The light of Vara will guide them. Do not fear, Earelda.
You are right, Dinfea. As the light of Elbereth has always given us hope, so has the light of the Valar guided us, and always will.
5 months' time, found the white city of Gondor draped in flowers and banners under a blue sky. The shadow of Mordor had been lifted from Middle-earth in the defeat of Sauron. For Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee persevered in the destruction of the Ring of Power. And now Earelda, as she stood in the shining marble halls of the palace, knew the grace that her gift had given to the halflings. She had come with her sister Arwen, who was to wed Aragorn at last, now that he had been crowned the rightful king of Gondor. With the return of peace had come joy. All of Middle-earth was united that day. Halflings, dwarves, elves, and men stood together. Earelda stood with her beloved handmaid, who was now the betrothed of Arwen's brother Elbereth. It was then that Earelda and Berindir were reunited, for the ranger had joined the king's men to pay homage to him. And there was still more joy to come, for when the king and queen stepped down amongst their people, with Elrond and Galadriel, they made their way towards the three.
Dear Earelda, you have now seen the grace given by the light of Berindir. If not for your love of Elbereth, Middle-earth may still be in darkness. Even the smallest play an unimaginable role in the turning of the world. Halflings can defeat darkness, and handmaids may serve queens.
Yes, my lady, indeed.
Hail, Berindir. Have you made your choice?
Hail, my king. I have indeed.
Come forward, then. Behold, not only has Elrond gifted the Even Star to the Dunedain, but to Morning Star as well. Berindir and Earelda will be troth-plighted before you all, and the world of elves and mortals shall be doubly bound.
Now, my sister, we four are bound to the same fate, for you and I shall taste the joys and bitterness of mortality.
That is what comes of raising two maidens together, who have minds towards the rest of the world, and who are so designed that their hearts are easily caught by rangers.
Do be fair, Earelda. It is us rangers whose lonely hearts cannot help but reach for the highest star.
Quite so. And is there any man among men worthy of these three women?
They surely must be handmaids of the Lady Elbereth, for such is their goodness and grace. Speaking of handmaids, can anyone tell me where my sister has vanished to? I've hardly seen her since we've arrived.
Perhaps she too has found someone.
I doubt it. Last I knew, she was still engaged to a dead ranger. Mistron, if you remember.
Last I knew, Rhaeloth was helping to improve the archery skills of some of my men. Come, let us leave them in peace, Berindir, before they tire of our speeches. We should attend to our brethren below.
But this shall not be your escape from our speeches, my lord, for our tongues will not tire of returning yours.
And this shall not be the last to hear of them.
Nay, we won't stop for fear you shall speak our praise, and thus you must stretch your patience and weary your ears.
I suppose you can say now that I was the wise one, for I have chosen one who is as myself. But I grieve, for I will be parted from you, whom I have always been joined to.
Oh, sweet Dinfea, could Iluvatar truly separate us forever? I think not, that our paths are merely separated for a time, for we have the same Lord, the same life, though of a different kind, two final homes, yet again one Lord of both.
Such remains to be seen, Earelda, but we have been blessed in that we shall not be parted from our loves, though I shall lose my father, and you, your handmaid.
I shall hold it unwise from henceforth for any love to choose immortally, when one they love will be parted from them, for my heart will be torn in two when we are apart. Dear Elenloth and beloved Arwen, there is not much time left for such decisions to be made.
No, it is not long until you shall depart from us with Eldro here for blessed peace. But I foresee that my brothers will tarry in Middle-earth with the gift of the half-elven.
One wonders why, since she's loved, while others live alone and apart, and why one loves a person over another. Is there always only one love? Are these hearts of ours forever tuned to one song?
To the Song of Iluvatar I have no doubt, Dinfea.
For some, there is more than one. For mortal men and women may die, and their spouses remarry. But even then I would not be surprised if Iluvatar governed the turning of our hearts, save for the willfulness of some.
But among the elves, years give wisdom, but pain too. And when we learn to love, it is a love which is immortal, unlike the stars which Elbereth set in the sky for us, yet similar in this, a sign of hope, greater than the star of Berindir.
Thus ends the Song of Elbereth, a Middle-earth tale, based on the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, written by Grace Bourget, edited by Chantal LaFortune, narrated by Amelia Pollux and Gregory Bourget, with Grace Bourget as Earelda and the voice of Elbereth, Kristopher Scheuren as Berindir, Marija Scheuren as Rhaeloth, Teresa Scheuren as Dinfea, Jason Forbis as Gildor and Aragorn, Chantal LaFortune as Galadriel and the Elf Maiden, Claudia LaFortune as Arwen, James Sparrow as Elrond, Glorfindel, and Círdan, Charles Foyle as Haldir and Celeborn, Helen Hoff as Silinwyn, Therese Hoff as Hilwen, Sasha Brelinsky as Elenloth, Joseph Hoheisel as Frodo, Ian Hoff as Pippin and Lindir, Paul Pollux as Elrohir, Tom Anselmi as Eladan, and Philip Bender as the Young Elf. All songs are based on the original lyrics by J.R.R. Tolkien. The hymn to Elbereth is sung by Grace Bourget. The Song of Beren and Luthien is sung by Therese Hoff and Grace Bourget. The Song of Luthien, Scene 2, is sung by Claudia LaFortune, and Scene 5 by Grace Bourget. The Call of Elbereth is written and sung by Grace Bourget. Music courtesy of Adrian von Ziegler, including pieces by Ian Grimm. Arwen's theme is The Wood Elves, written and produced by Claudia LaFortune. Resources include J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion, RealElvish.net, and TolkienGateway.net.
The author would like to thank Chantal LaFortune for her invaluable help in directing and producing this play, as well as to all the cast members for their participation. Special thanks to Dr. Sebastian Mifud for this opportunity, Claudia LaFortune and Greg Bourget for sound editing, Kelsey Lopp for her knowledge of Middle-earth lore, and Adrian von Ziegler for allowing us to use his music in this project. This play was produced in memory of Lisa Bourget, in the hearts of the Holy Family.